Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Maybe Zamaris's channel too. We haven't figured all that out yet. But shoot, it's Amanda, and I'm here with my good friend Janay, family, my sister. Okay, Janay will eat. Okay, some of y'all know her as that. So what's going on with you? How you been?
I'm in this space of just trying to grow. You know,
Yeah, I feel you.
girlfriends came back out and they'd be like real true adulting, and I'm like,
Yo, and I haven't seen, I haven't seen Girlfriends in, forever, like
hmm
literally years. And since it's back on Netflix, all right. So, but yeah, I didn't realize like how good, like I knew it was one of my favorite shows when I was younger, but watching it again on Netflix, I'm like, wow, most of this is still relevant,
yes.
right?
And the writing is still so good,
So good, so funny.
and the fucking fashion. I'm like, how timeless. I would wear Joan's whole wardrobe right now.
That's, I'm not gonna really speak to that part, but
That's legit.
Damaris was like, "Ooh, I love her this or whatever. Look at her style, blah blah. Look how cute." I'm like, yeah, I agree. I do think, but I'm just like, that's hilarious because I don't think about that. But she was very aware of that too.
Everything about the show is timeless. It
It's so,
really
it
is.
really is. That's the perfect word for it. Timeless. But yeah, it's so good. And but the only thing I gotta point out. I'm like, damn, William did some sus stuff, or would say some sus things.
He was a predator.
He was.
He was a real life predator.
I'm so glad you said that. I was like, wow, watching this in the age we're in now with everything that's going on as far as like, yeah, predators in the workplace and shit like that. I'm like, William was a fucking pervert.
A pervert. And they let him get away with it because he was like cool with like all girls. So I'm like, he was a fucking predator. It was
And it's weird
disgusting.
because he was so like nonchalant and sly, real slick about it. Where it
Right.
felt normal. It was
It
like,
felt normal.
yeah. But I was like, when you know better, you do better.
You
And
do
I'm like,
better.
yeah, if anybody talks to you the way William did in Girlfriends, you should go to HR immediately.
Period.
Period. Oh my god.
No, he was a predator.
Yeah, but that's good. Well, that's not good that he's a predator. But the show, besides literally that part, I'm like, all right, this show is as good as I remember it. Thank God.
No, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
Have you been watching the game again yet?
I watched it in total.
Dang! I didn't watch it yet again. I watched a lot when I was again younger. I'm still young, but whatever. It feels
Right.
like a long time ago.
Right.
Literally, like
No,
teen years, right? It's been a long
yeah.
time.
Yeah, a long time ago.
But yeah,
Whole life ago.
oh, you started reading all about love, right? Did you finish it?
I did.
You did.
I finished it.
I read it, or I've been listening to the audiobook. I forgot most of it.
So, if you don't know, I'm like looking at. If you
No,
don't
that's good.
know,
Yeah.
if you don't know, All About Love is by bell hooks, and it's just like breaking down love from so many different sides.
Mhm.
And I went into it, so I'm reading it for book club, and I
Mhm.
went into it like I haven't married for like 7+ years. I don't really want to read a lovey dovey. I'm not really that type of reader.
Yeah.
So when I went into it, I was kind of like a skeptic, but then I got into it how it broke down love from so many different components. Like as a child, like
Mhm.
how love between a child and a parent really looks
Mm.
versus how we've been conditioned to think it looks,
Right.
which I thought was like the deepest thing I took from it.
I agree because that definitely struck me because I don't know about you, but I think she says almost exactly this in the book about like your only reference to love within your family or something is like Disney movies or like or those type of shows like
Yeah.
and things like that. And that's how I thought, and I was just like, my family's not like that at all. So it
Right.
definitely probably created some like insecurities within me where I'm just like, thinking like my family's the worst of them. They are. But no, but it was definitely like refreshing to read that family life isn't as like bubbly as like TV or cinema makes it appear to be. And
Right.
that's okay. Like it can be messy and all these things, but yeah, I thought that struck me too.
Yeah. It was really deep, and just even thinking about, I guess like even like the messier sides and like it
Mhm.
being like too messy, like how we accept things based off of just it being family, and just how that's just not love. Her talking about even addressing dysfunction within her family
Mm.
and kind of being scared to do that for a while by saying like, some things we have been conditioned to do are not love.
Right. Most things.
Most things.
Most of the things that we do, I think, as people in general, like, are based off being conditioned. Like, a lot of it's just not natural. So, and a lot of things we were conditioned to do, for example, like, accept family members, even if they're fucking, like,
William.
I was gonna say predator, but like literally, yes, we're like William. But literally, yeah, a lot of women like accept, or men and women accept or tolerate that type of behavior based on this whole like ideology around family and what they're supposed to mean to you, which I'm for family. I do think that's the most important thing, and like you should do everything you can to like maintain your family and try to make it grow, but be good and not accept and hold each other accountable for the shitty things that your family members do.
Deep. But for real, because like even like there's a chapter where she talks about lying.
Mm-hmm.
And just how lies and love just can't coexist. And I just like went through that whole chapter and was like, Maurice, you see this? These little white lies that you say you're doing out of love?
Right.
Not love. Yeah. But like she like went as far as to say that, if she doesn't like the Christmas gift somebody gives her, like she's like, yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
That's amazing.
Because you give somebody the opportunity and you're trusting that they can absorb that information. Mm-hmm. And you're trusting that they are able to, respond with love as well.
I definitely learned that in my relationship with Maris about like trying to trust that she can handle things. Right. I'm not so much, I don't want to say that I go to lie, but I might just like not talk at all. Right. I might shut down or just probably withdraw just to avoid things because I don't feel like I can lie. Like,
me too.
Yeah,
I hate that shit.
Yeah, I hate it too. I feel like I wish I could because it seems like everybody's out here doing it and doing it well.
Everybody.
And it's working out okay? People are just excelling at their lies every day. Every day people wake up every day and just start off with lies. And it seems to work out for a lot of people, and but I don't got it in me. I just wasn't, I really wasn't raised that way. And, yeah, it's like horrible. It's like a mixture of being raised that way in family and probably religion too. Because I was raised Catholic and it's like that Catholic guilt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I can't tell a lie.
This will come back around.
Because confess. Did you ever have to? You're Christian, right?
I'm a Christian, but my mom was married to my stepdad for a while. He was Catholic, so I went to church with him a lot.
Okay, well, I used to do confession a lot, like on Saturdays before Mass on Sunday. So, man, I would really avoid doing things in real life because I did not want to have to confess to a priest on Saturday.
Was it like really like it was on like TV? Like I went to Mass on Sunday, but I never did.
It's just like TV where you could do it face to face. I tried that before, but it was very underwhelming. Like I just was like, I tried to be a brave little kid, and I was like, I'm gonna sit face to face with him and tell him all my deepest, darkest secrets. And that man didn't pay me not. He said, "This little girl don't get out of here."
What?
Yes, like you're me, right? You're looking at me talking, and he just was like, I remember him sitting there, and there was like a security camera, like in the corner, like a TV where I guess you can see the people entering, and he just was like focused on that, looking. And I'm like telling him, I'm like, yeah, I did something really bad, and you about to be shocked how bad I am. I like slammed the door behind my mom's back. Look, that's how bad I am. Like that's how it was. And he just was like, say like 12 Hail Marys and 12 Our Fathers and you'll be fine. Like that was it. And I was like, what? There's no reaction. You know what I mean? I don't get no I was all nervous too going in there, so I expected a lot more. But yeah, you can do face to face, or you can do it like in the booth where you're like get on your knees and you have that like screen and you can't see him, but he's sitting there and he's just like listening, so you see like kind of like a silhouette or whatever. But I always hated that because I felt like I had to tell the truth. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to tell him I had a naughty thought. A naughty thought? Because it was like those coming of age years too. Right. I took that shit serious. I took I'm like, I'm having thoughts about sex, Father. He like, just go do a round of the rosary and get on out of here. You'll be fine. It's okay. And I'm like, no, it's really bad, man. But yeah, it was, yeah. I didn't have like no great connection to any priest though or anything like that, like they just seemed kind of out there. you know, to everybody. Like, they just were there. They read, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Very, like, autopilot. Just a guy trying to do his job, probably, really.
He's like, first of all, she's telling me about this door. I need to clock out in 10
He's
minutes.
like, I get to go take my nap. Like as if something more pressing was in his life. But, like, what? Like, I don't know. What can he be doing? Nothing.
Interesting.
But it makes me think, right? Because this is where I started, like, having these, like, conspiracy theory type thoughts since I was a wee little girl.
Do tell.
Because priests, like, I just thought it was odd, you know, when you hear parables or stories from the Bible and stuff like that, and everybody's, like, poor and humble and things like that. But, like, these priests were driving BMWs and Mercedes.
Mm.
And I knew those were luxury cars. Like, I knew about cars when I was younger, like, not in that way, but I knew that if you had BMW or Mercedes, you get bread.
Right.
I'm like, he asking me for money on the weekend? Why don't he sell his car? Okay. I could not understand. I couldn't make that connection. Like, in a genuine way, when I was little, I couldn't make that connection.
The funny thing is, on, like, a very similar level, when I would watch those fucking commercials about, like, the kids in, like, Africa being poor, I'm like, these people are there. Why don't you just feed them? In my head, I'm like, you know these fucking starving kids.
Got flies on their eyes. You're not even gonna swat that fly out that baby eye.
Like, I would be like, yo, y'all there.
You right there. You could literally.
You want my little $1 a month, and you right there.
With your, like, J. Crew outfit on or something like that, or your Brooks Brothers.
Walking all slow to the camera. Dressed to the T.
With a camera that probably cost, like, thousands of dollars, too. Like, the guy just there, like, with this big camera and a mic thing.
I'll be so pissed at those commercials. Like, y'all there. This poor kid.
Kids, man, we can't. They know. We know things. We know things when we're kids, and we're conditioned to not follow our intuitions and our thoughts.
For real.
Yeah, and that's where things should just go downhill from there.
Go downhill. Which is why I just let Layla be a free thinker. Like, just think what you want.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, like, you know,
harming somebody. I feel like that's where it draws the line. That's what I always say for everything. Like, I don't care what you believe in, for the most part.
Right.
Until it starts harming literally other people, like, that's where I'm just like, all right, where do we put the line for that? Because free thinkers, like, you know, not that, but, you know, people who I like, Kanye West, who thinks he's like a free thought leader.
Which is dangerous.
Yeah, that can get real dangerous and go down a slippery slope. If you're that, don't be that.
Don't be that.
But I like the idea of not being tied to specific ideas or ideologies. Like, that's cool. I'm for that. But, yeah. That Kanye shit, no.
Bringing it back. Kanye shit.
Bringing it back full circle. No, don't be that guy.
Yeah, he's spiraling out of control. It's not a good thing.
Listen, I think ever since he had his meltdown on TMZ was maybe the last time I watched him, where he said slavery was a choice. Right. And I haven't watched him since then, but I did see that he was on a thing with Nick Cannon on YouTube. He has an interview with Nick Cannon. It's pretty new. I tried to watch. I don't even know if I got 5 minutes in, swear to God, but I couldn't watch it. Couldn't stomach it. He's so gone. Like, the way he talks, he can't even complete a thought. It's just like he goes from, like, building a community to God, and then, like, money, then God, and capitalism, then God, then sneakers, then God, then A.D.O.S, then God. Like, it's just like this. Like, you're literally he's a Gemini, right? Like, you're literally watching, like, the perfect example, I feel like, of what a Gemini resembles.
It makes me so sad because he was my favorite rapper at one point. Like,
that was my first rap album. Was like, that album, and my mom made me fucking return it. She was like, put this on. I tried to be slick and buy it when we went to Best Buy because my mom was a little bit strict on music and stuff. Right. So I was like, it's a really good guy. It's about college because it's college trauma. About college admissions and stuff. It's gonna be really good for me. But my mom made me unravel or whatever and put it in the car, in the CD thing in the car. And as soon as she heard that first N-word come out his mouth, she was like, take this back inside right now. She made me go back and return it.
Oh, so sad.
Sorry, we had, like, LimeWire. I was like, whatever, stupid. I'm gonna go illegally download this on the computer anyway, dummy. Remember Frostwire, LimeWire, Napster? Oh my god.
Like, those were the real music days.
Yes.
We had that little MP3.
Oh my god,
Remember
yes.
those?
Yeah, I do. Oh my god. Yeah, I definitely had an MP3 and it had like the circle thing in the middle, but it was blue. Like I feel like iPods were super cool because you didn't have to rotate a circle like a rotary phone. Like that was my MP3. My MP3 had like a fucking dial, like a rotary phone. You had to like go like this to get the new song or put the volume up.
Right.
But yeah. Oh my god.
Those were the days.
Now we got fucking
everything
on that's a whole other. Don't even get me started on that. Right.
Over consumerism.
I can't.
This is the world we're living in now.
Yeah, and it's just gonna get worse.
It's gonna get much worse.
Yeah.
The Amazon world.
Now, why are you gonna go bring that up right now? Get me riled up.
The Amazon world that
we're
preparing for.
Yeah. So there's a documentary on Amazon Prime, right? How ironic is that? Amazon Prime has literally got documentaries bashing Jeff Bezos. How?
America.
I guess, yeah, right? I guess it's cool. Good for him, I guess. If you're going to watch it, you're going to watch it on my channel, right?
Basically.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, there's this documentary that me and Janay, we just watched, and it was pretty good. It was like about Amazon and how he got his start and how he is like a true visionary. But y'all, it's scary. It's scary, y'all. And this man, like, I couldn't tell you how far back. I'm just going to make this up and say maybe 20 years ago. You know, before there was really an Amazon, he already had the vision of using the internet, which again, everybody was afraid of, right? Nobody knew what that was going to be. Nobody knew what you were going to have access to, but he knew that if him and these investors just sunk money into this company he tried to monopolize the selling of books, so he could put all those businesses out of business.
It was disgusting.
It's crazy because I feel like too, if you have a bookstore, like you are passionate about books.
Yeah.
Like that's not something you go into for money to begin with.
Right.
You know, like, oh, I want to be rich, I'm going to go open a bookstore. No, you don't do that.
Right.
But for him, yeah, he was like, he probably saw it as like the weakest business, you know, because he knew they weren't making money.
Right.
So he knew it would be easy to get them out of business quick and monopolize on the selling of books by starting Amazon. And that's how he wanted to start was, you know, he had this idea, which was so crazy back in the day, that you can read books on your desktop instead of having books all over. Like, you know, he thought that was clutter and thought that was like a bad thing. So instead he went and created Amazon to sell books so that he can get rich, put all these other people out of business, and minimize clutter in your home.
And then increase it with all your Amazon packages in the future.
Yeah, because now here we are, he sells everything. But the trouble, America, and listen closely here, it's really important. The biggest mistake we've made as people, as human beings, was giving up our data to these fucking people like Amazon.
Oh my God. I mean, we're only as valuable as our data.
That's all we are is data. That's why his company is so valuable, because of all of the data. Like that's, you know, I know it sounds like he's this wonderful, I don't want to say wonderful CEO because I don't know what a lot of people's perspectives are. It's weird because it's like, wow, he really, I mean, he's a billionaire like times 50. Mm-hmm. This man is so filthy rich, but you know, at the cost of frontline employees, you know, like people putting their lives on the line right now with, you know, COVID-19 and all that going on. And yeah, I get kind of scared when I start thinking about it, because it's like a double, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's double-edged sword, because I'm like, wow, he was a visionary. Like, I mean, Amazon is an incredible monster.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, if you're so brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Why can't you create a model where everybody wins?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you have to get rich off of stepping on people's necks. And that's just the karma that I don't want.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
a good point.
He took that model from kind of putting book, you know, publishers and things like that out of business to just taking that to everybody. Right. And taking that cut of everybody's business. Mm-hmm. In a way that's just like, you don't deserve it.
Right. That's probably, yeah, that's true. That's why his wife took him for half of his shit and then donated it to a bunch of fucking charities.
And became, the richest woman in the world? Like, wow. Goals. I mean, not goals, because I plan to be happily married. But
right. Oh man, that's a whole other argument for another day, because a lot of men have been bashing her because they think that the only way women can get rich is if they marry rich and divorce.
What's not talked about is she helped him build that business.
That men don't think that way though. Men don't think. Sorry, let me not generalize. A lot of men think that women are just, I don't know, out to get their money or something like that. But yeah, they're like huge contributors to men's life because they take care of everything behind the scenes that men don't even have to worry about. You know, raising kids for their legacy to continue or whatever it is, like,
or ideas, because like even if I'm on a very small scale. I'm not Jeff Bezos or his wife.
Yeah.
But like Maurice, when he was starting his business like 8-9 years ago, I was right there brainstorming names with him, brainstorming mission statements, vision statements,
a sounding board. Yeah.
Anything that he needed. Okay, what do you think about this? I'm sharpening ideas for him. So that does deserve me to have 50% of his business if we were to ever split.
That's the thing, men, or sorry, again, I don't want to generalize, but a lot, or not even just men, but a lot of people just don't see like value in like the emotional support that is given when it's probably the most important thing. Because if you don't feel love and support, you know, you're gonna, I mean, I think that just like boosts your self-esteem and your confidence, which allows you to keep growing with your ideas and keep moving. And as long as you have somebody in your corner telling you like, I love that, that's a great idea, or maybe not, you know?
Yeah. What the value of sharpening an idea? Because the idea could go so far left. You okay?
Hold on.
Those are the worst coughs ever. I
choked on my spit.
I hate those coughs.
And I felt it went, shoop.
You know how you try to stop it? You're like, wait a minute, don't go.
I was like, wait, hold that thought, because I feel the spit trickle down the wrong pipe. This doesn't even help. You know, I don't know why people drink after they choke on their spit, because it's not from dry throat.
Right.
It's from like it went down a wrong tube.
Those are the most traumatic coughs ever. They really are. Traumatic because you can't stop them. There's nothing you can do. Hold on. Put your arm over your head.
All right. Anyway, sorry. But yeah.
I can go so far left if it's not sharpened. Oh, for sure. And like people don't understand that. Mm-hmm. Like just a little bit of sharpening can make an idea miss somebody or get to somebody for real.
Yeah, I think Obama and Michelle and then like Trump and Melania are perfect like examples of what it looks like to have like a supportive spouse and how you might end up, you know, if you don't have like the support that you need.
But both ways, because you can see Obama's or Barack, their admiration for Michelle and how he credits her for allowing him to be who he is today. Right. You know what I'm saying? And where Trump is like, Melania is not even here. Who?
I was about to say that next. Oh, right, yeah. Like, you know, bring her in. Like, I forgot. I don't know her. I don't know that. Maybe Mariah Carey her. I don't know that girl. I've never met her. Yeah.
They cannot stand each other. It's so clear.
Oh my God, yeah. That was like she had no idea that he was gonna be the president. And that she was gonna be the first lady. I forget about her. I genuinely I'm like, oh my God, a first lady? Like I forgot there was a first lady.
Until she gives like a robot speech.
Yeah.
At one of the conventions.
I have never seen one of her speeches.
It's horrible.
I don't need to see it to. I just seeing them, the little interactions that go viral online, they're just like hilarious to me.
They're so funny to me. It's like clearly she was a mail order bride, but we're not going to talk about that.
Let's not.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's not the smoothest transition, but we were talking about this earlier. But so, and thinking about Trump or like Republicans in general, like there is a term out there called A.D.O.S.
Okay.
They think that will solve the racist issues that are and being politically incorrect.
Okay. So
apparently A.D.O.S. stands for American Descendants of Slaves.
Okay.
Literally even hearing myself say that out loud and thinking that that's what they think is going to solve race issues. They're like, we need to acknowledge it, which not wrong about the acknowledging part, but I don't feel comfortable, like, being like, Janay, my A.D.O.S sister. I don't like that.
Me either.
It's really like pigeonholing you too to that term, like you are a descendant of a slave. Like almost don't forget. Like for me, I see it as like a negative. I'm like, what? People don't want to keep being reminded that they're just descendants of slaves.
What are the perks? Like besides the title,
right? Like you want to acknowledge. Like he was like, we need to this. I watched this guy on YouTube or whatever, and he's like a pretty popular voice, and he was like, we gotta just love our A.D.O.S brothers and sisters, and we gotta and we have to embrace that is what the problem is. We're calling them African American, we're calling them blacks. We need to start calling them A.D.O.S and show some respect. And I'm like, why are you so committed to this idea? Because I've never even heard of that.
Right.
And that sounds like a Republican's, like, what is it, acronym? Is that right?
Yeah.
It sounds like a Republican acronym. Like, that a Republican definitely came up with that acronym for sure.
Right, because, you know.
Right.
African American doesn't say it enough. That's not clear enough.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah. He thinks that those are all, like, politically incorrect or something.
How?
I know. Listen. I knew it the moment it came out of his mouth. I was like, choked on my food. I'm like, he said, what? Not that I support guys like him and stuff, but I definitely watch some of those prominent, like, right-wing or...
It's good to watch.
Yeah, because I want to know what they're saying. I want to know what their thoughts are like.
The biggest issue, and, like, if you look at everything that's going on now, as it parallels to how Adolf Hitler rose to fame, you can see all of the things, like, just matching up.
It's like argued that there might not have been that genocide or Adolf Hitler if it wasn't for the United States.
Yeah, because he got all his ideas from us.
Yes.
Like
eugenics and all that. Biologists.
He was inspired by all of that shit.
He was. He gives us direct credit. He literally says it. I looked up this, his stuff about him. We go down these rabbit holes of these leaders and how they came to be and how did that work.
Their mommies didn't love them and shit.
Huh?
So their mommies didn't love them and shit. Specifically.
Seems like the common denominator. I watched the interview with Mike Tyson, and he's like not obsessed, but he like studied conquerors. He thought it might help him in his career and things like that, is what he says in the interview. It's a really good interview. Interesting. It was so good, and it's with him and Joe Rogan. And it's like kind of weird because I think Joe wants him to be this like monster savage, but he's not. He's like super chill and enlightened. Yeah. And Joe seemed super underwhelmed, at least as like my take on it. But it was so good because like Joe's like, yeah, like, did you want to be a conqueror? Like, do you think you were born in the wrong time because whatever? And Mike's like, no, I was born in the right time, and I am a conqueror because I conquered myself. Those guys didn't conquer themselves, so I don't want to be like them, but I did conquer myself and blah blah. I'm like, fucking right, Mike. Like he seems like he really has like that interview. I thought he was super inspiring because talk about like a comeback. He's about to start boxing again.
Right, I saw that.
And
she looks super prepared for her.
He says he does it every day. He gets up and he's like 52 or something. He gets up and goes and trains every single day, except I think maybe Sunday. Okay, so we're back. I had to change the footage tape or something like that. So we're gonna pick up where we left off. We were talking about Mike Tyson, right? And but yeah, you should definitely watch that interview with him and Joe. I'm trying to think, but yeah, about conquerors and things like that. And we were talking about Hitler and but yeah, that was the common denominator. Like their moms didn't love them enough. Even serial killers. If you watch stuff on Netflix, wherever you want to watch your documentaries,
everybody.
Moms didn't love him enough.
What's the name? I can't even think of his name right now. The cult leader.
Charles Manson?
Yes.
Wait. But do you know, there's a book and everything on it.
He's so fucking deep.
Wait, but about the CIA? And
what about his fucking race war? Did you know about that?
Mm-mm.
He thought that blacks were going to take over the world and he wanted to lead them. Which is why he murdered so many whites the way he did.
Ooh, maybe I'll keep my comments off camera for that. But now I gotta read about that. Like that is so good. Well, so what I found out about Charles Manson, which I don't know how true it is. I think there's like unclassified documents now about it and things like that, and that's how it came up. But again, I watched another interview, and this is one of those things that came up about Charles Manson and how the CIA did all these like drug experiments on him for like 7 years while he was in prison. And it involved LSD, and he went and did the same exact experiments on those people, on the people that he was like leading.
Right.
I don't remember their names, but that little cult group he made were based off what he learned from the CIA.
Wow.
There's a book, like it's a legit book. I have it in my Amazon cart. I'm about to check because I just want to even say it so that maybe we all read about it.
Yeah.
We'll come back and talk about it.
Wow.
But yeah, from what I heard in the interview, it was about that and how he might not fully be at fault. But that's like, I feel like that plays a little bit into, not exactly, but a little bit of like a nature versus nurture type thing. It's like your environment and how much it does affect the way you behave and treat others and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I totally believe in that more. I do think that some of it could be genetics. Like, I don't know if all of it. I feel like I believe in both nature and nurture. Like, some of it I do think people are born a certain way.
Well, yeah, because like it definitely is how you nurture the person. Because somebody can have a condition and two people can treat the condition or nurture that person two different ways.
Yeah, but I feel like I've even seen people who have been nurtured like pretty beautifully, like tried to be, and they still turned out like.
What do you mean? Like how?
From at least from my perspective, like I've had some friends or whatever that I just feel like their parents, I mean, obviously there could be things I don't know, but they seem to have a good life and good parents and things like that. But sometimes people have it so good that they want to feel something or be known for the wrong thing, and then they turn and do like fucked up shit.
Right. So I have like a example. So I have a little cousin or a little cousin-in-law who would seem to have it all.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have it all emotionally. You feel what I'm saying? And he has so much trauma from what he's seen, what has happened to him, and things like that. That part of his life wasn't nurtured. But he gets whatever he wants. The newest sneakers, PS5s. You know what I'm saying? Like, from the outside looking in, it's like, well, you get what you want. Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? But, like, when you really look at his situation and all the unresolved issues that went in his life, it's like, he wasn't being nurtured the way he should have been nurtured.
That, yeah, I can see that happen, and I do get that. I think too, like the other part of this is that like I think sometimes people are too harsh on people. Like I think it's natural for humans to have demons and monsters, and I feel like if you're not raised, I think that's the difference, right, between humans and animals is that we show compassion and empathy. So it's just like, but those things have to be taught. I don't think people realize that you have to teach compassion, you have to teach empathy. You're not born really with those things. You kind of are, but if you don't nurture it, yeah, so it's like I think it's super important to have those conversations with. I mean, I don't have kids, but you know, you have to like make it a point, like not to lie, not to, you know, harm others, or, you know, try to be considerate and compassionate in what you're doing, and realize how that might affect people around you.
Right. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. See, just don't wake up one day and be like, you know, I care about this. I know we talked about this a while ago, and I was saying how, like, I literally have to teach Layla that some things are not funny. Yeah. Like, literally. Like, she'll, like, laugh, and I'm just like, whoa. Yeah. That wasn't funny.
I still laugh at things I shouldn't laugh at. I was never taught not to laugh. Like, I'm just like, think horrible things are funny. I don't know why I'm like that, but because I was never really taught to, like, I was never reprimanded for laughing, let's say, at a funeral.
What? Let's say at a funeral.
Horrible things. I mean, it's probably more of a nervous thing.
Yeah.
But I'll die. Like, I'll crack up laughing at literally the worst times. Like, I've really seen people hurt themselves too, and I'll be like, that's my first reaction.
But like, and it's another thing. It's another layer to that, because like, there's this thing that says like trauma is comedy. Like, some of the people who experience the most trauma are like fine. Well, look at these out of a lot of things.
That makes total sense. Most comedians, they've like committed suicide or are just down a bad path, about to maybe commit suicide. Like, I mean, that's not a very sensitive way to put it, but it's true. They always say that too, that most like the funniest people always just have the most to hide or something like that. So I believe it. I definitely can see that.
I definitely still laugh at things that I'm not supposed to laugh at. Like even when like.
Yeah, but like somebody tripping is one thing, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely.
At a funeral.
Wish I held back a little bit in some places. That was totally not appropriate. Like I would tend to be inappropriate sometimes with those things. I don't know. I feel like I have to laugh.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what else to do with myself. I don't feel like I'm gonna cry, so I'm just gonna laugh. Why is it just those two options? I'm so basic. I don't know any better. Like I just gotta laugh or I gotta cry. Which one am I gonna do? I guess I'm gonna laugh more. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. Rule of thumb is just don't laugh at funerals.
Yeah, try not to laugh at funerals. It's really frowned upon apparently, and it's not a good look, and you probably won't be invited to any more.
You won't be invited back to the next one.
I think you know what it is too. I think people are so sad for some reason. It's like my natural instinct to try to make people laugh or something when they feel sad.
Yeah.
So I've definitely pushed it a little bit. I feel like I'm a little bit aware where I'm not like a total asshole and totally insensitive, but I definitely will poke and they'll just give me a look like, now's not the time for that. I'll be like, oh, all right, that's where we're gonna draw that line. I just go outside. I'll just go do something with myself, like go outside or I don't know, talk to somebody, distract myself because I don't know what else to do. Like it's just a dead person in the room.
Shut up.
I'll just be like this. I'm swinging my feet in case you can't see my feet. And just wait.
I'm a wreck at all funerals. I don't know why. I don't even have to know the person. They be like, oh, what are your friends? I'm like, no.
No, I didn't even know them. I'm here for support for somebody. Oh.
I'm a wreck at all funerals. I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I think because I fear losing the people close to me so much that, like, when I see, like, for instance, I went to years ago. One of Maurice's mentees, I think I told you this, that he died during a basketball tournament that Maurice was coaching.
No, I don't remember you telling me.
He had a seizure, like, in the middle of the game.
Oh, maybe I did hear that story.
And he died he was like 13. Horrible. It was horrible. And
oh my God.
We went to the funeral, and like when they was about to close that damn casket, and his mom went off. I was no fucking good. Yeah. Like I was a wreck. Like
just being an empath. Hello. Yeah.
Girl. Like I was like, what?
I don't think I've ever seen anybody like really go off. I've seen people cry, but I really honestly try to avoid it because I will cry if I see you cry.
Right.
But I don't see the good in that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just have wrong views on it. Really, now that I say it out loud, I'm like a little bit embarrassed. I'm like, oh, maybe I should cry with them. Maybe they'll make them. But I feel like you got enough people crying around you. Right. Like, y'all all crying.
I'll be all dramatic. I don't be helping. I don't be helping nothing. I'll
just be trying to chill and like I'd be trying to avoid the heavy criers. But that's an interesting point too, because you say you're afraid of loss, and then I feel like I'm afraid of loss, but I feel like I've experienced a lot of loss in my life, period. So I'm kind of like at this point desensitized to it. Like I've really accepted like people will come in and out of your life, whether it's through death or whether it's like voluntarily. Right, like it's just like a revolving door sometimes. Right. Not like trying to be all sad or whatever, because I'm not sad about it. It's just like I think I've just at an early age had to accept like this is what happens and it is what it is. You know.
I'm weird about that shit, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I've experienced like a lot of loss. But I'm like, I don't know. It's something like weird about it for me. Shit is super weird to me.
You know. It is. I totally agree. I mean, this is something on its own that I could talk about for days. But in case we run out of time, I do want to point out this book. It's by Joan Didion. It's actually right there. It's called the Year of Magical Thinking. It's about loss. It's a pretty like dense, or maybe not dense, but like boring read. It's literally she's like a pretty famous writer, Joan Didion, and but that she's just like recounting the days and thinking back about when her daughter and her husband died.
Oh God.
It happened pretty soon, one after another. Like first her husband went, and then not too long later.
What? It wasn't even the same occasion? just take me now.
Right. But
Oh
it's a
my
really
goodness.
good book in that, like, I didn't really understand. You know, I feel like death is pretty taboo, or like loss.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like you can't really talk about it. You can't really take time off. Like you just kind of, people dance around it, and I don't know.
She also has a really good All About Love. I don't know if it's deeper
Mm.
into the book. She has a really good chapter about that.
Really? I might not have gotten to that part because I don't remember her talking about loss. She did make a lot of good points. We both highly recommend that book, All About Love. Um, and just, you know, learning the different ways to love and unlearning some of the ways of love, quote unquote, because some of it's not really love. Like lies, that's not love.
That's not love. Like, no. A period.
Yeah. Okay.
But she talked about when you loving somebody through death isn't in a way of sadness.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of are not loving them in that way. It's not. I don't want to butcher what she said, but she was like, you know, to really put that person at peace and in your mind, you kind of, when you think of that person, you shouldn't be feeling sadness.
Yeah, it's kind of like, ooh, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but it makes me think of that quote where like, it might be Dr. Seuss. It was like, don't cry because they're gone, smile because they were here or because it happened.
Right.
Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
Right.
Type of thing.
Right.
You know, like that type of, I don't know, view on it. But yeah, I get it, and I gotta keep hearing it.
That shit is hard.
It's hard. It's that, and you know, and that's so that book, The Year of Magical Thinking. She references like some studies from psychologists and therapists from back in the day, and even some like literature about death, maybe some philosophy, and it's super interesting because they tried to. It's not seen this way, but grief in a way is kind of like a mental illness. Although I'm not a fan of that term, like illness. I just think people have work to do, you know. But that book breaks it down in a way that makes you a little more accepting of your grief because a lot of people tend to feel shame about it or just don't even know what to do with it. And there's no resources, there's no help. Like I've tried to read about things, you know, I'm always felt like I was on the search for answers when I lost, you know, like my grandma, like my biggest loss. So that definitely left me confused, or why it talks about, she talks about her own experience, but I found myself connecting with it. Like, for example, my favorite part was like, I realized after some thought, I kept your shoes because I for some reason have this feeling you're going to come back. And I feel like that's really why we keep a lot of their things, like in case you need this when you get back. Like, it's like we can't really, it's hard to accept the loss.
That's like, it's kind of like torment in the little.
It is.
It's kind of like, and this is really far fetched. I don't want to put this energy out here because I fucking would like be done. But like having a kid like kidnapped, like you can never move, you never change your number. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep everything the way that it is, just in case.
Right. You have to be like stuck in time, basically, because you just keep thinking like they're gonna come back. So it's like I wish there was more studies on it. I wish there was more research into that, because I definitely think, you know, and because they say just in general, like your brain is always rewiring itself according to like whatever situations you're going through. So it's like, imagine like your brain, I don't know, just doing that rewiring to focus on that one specific event that happened in your life, and then it like never recovers.
Right.
Why?
It's hard. It's like, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a hard, especially when things happen suddenly.
But what if that's our intuition too? Like, what if our intuition, again, why do we hold on to things? Well, we must hold on to them because we must think they're going to need this again. And on some level, what if there is, you know, I don't know what people believe in. There's like reincarnation or like heaven or something, or even like multiple dimensions right here, right now. So it's like,
it's hard. It's like, even like, it's a hard thing. Yeah. It's like, even like me and you are the same, and if we can't close a file, it's like I can't move forward from this thing. Like it's like I can't submit it. Yeah. It's like there's a field. Right. Not filled. Yeah.
Me and Janay, just to give some background, we're super like, we might be called, some might call us over analytical, but we just have pretty logical minds. And so when we can't, it's hard for us to move on from certain events that happen in our lives because something like doesn't make sense logically to us. So then it's like we like to say, we can't close that file and put it away and store it away because there's like a piece missing. It's like a page missing. And we're just, again, just super logical where we're just like, there's a page missing here. I can't, I cannot close this out until I find this page. Like, you know?
It's like, well, like you try to submit, it's like that red field, like you did not answer this.
Yes! And the little asterisk just keeps coming up. Like that's what it looks like in our brains when something like doesn't add up. We can't make sense of it. Right. So yeah, but
some deep shit, man.
Deep.
That's some deep shit, yeah.
Speaking of deep. No, I couldn't think of a good enough transition, but I was gonna say that's death. Let's talk about rebirth.
Okay.
And how about quarantine?
Quarantine has just been the ultimate rebirth.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I mean, before it happened, you already know of this, but
yeah,
I was going through. I was like having anxiety attacks at work.
Mm-hmm.
So every year I take off the week of my birthday.
Well, what do you like? Let's get into your background first of all. Can we just celebrate how accomplished you are and you got, you went all the way to your master's and you went to school and what you went for and all that. Come on, break it down.
So I went to school.
Don't be modest.
I went to school. I had got my bachelor's of science in interior design.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I always say bachelor's of science in interior design because it's really important because the bachelor's of arts is more so like when people think of, oh, can you fluff this